Well, good evening there and welcome to issue number 61, and this issue concerns the Gemini rat. And as you can see on the caption just prior to this video, those are the dates you have to be in this combination. If there's anybody 12 years prior to the first date I put up and you're not sure if you fall into this Western and Eastern astrological sign combination, then just drop me a line on here, message me or put it up on the board, and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. It's normally pretty quick, so let's get started straight away then with the Gemini rat combination. Well, let's start straight away as a child. The Gemini rats, well, what you have the energy of the rats in body, basically in their body. They like to tear here, there and everywhere, and you have the energy of the mind with the Gemini. So we've got the quick thinker and the quick-witted Gemini with a real sort of will-o'-the-wisp type rat and mixture there. And what it pans out basically is that you have a child that doesn't take itself too seriously, isn't oversensitive, will joke about, will have a laugh, but they know when to stop. The great thing about this combination is, yes, there'll be great fun, there'll be great fun to their friends, and they can have a giggle in class, but they know when to call it quits. You know, if the teacher's getting on their case, you know, they'll calm down and they will knuckle down. They will get through lessons pretty decently. It's not an overtly intelligent sign in the academic sense, in the classical way, you know, but they are very, very quick-witted and have a knack for drama, especially acting, is a very strong point for them, because they think very well on their, you know, on their feet. If they're given sort of quick-fire questions, they think they can role-play very, very well. So they do very well at drama, and plus with the energy of the rats, acting really does shine through ever so early for this combination. So if we take them, we're taking them through the early school years into senior school, high school, and very possibly university. You'll find, as I say, no one will really hurt them in the sense of they're oversensitive. They can laugh at themselves, but they will want to laugh at you as well. So you've got to be sort of big-hearted yourself, in the sense of, you know, yeah, I can bust it off, and you know, you'll find it's quite liberating really, that you're with a friend that, you know, doesn't mind the odd bit of mickey taking, and vice versa. You know, you'll feel at ease because they don't do it in a nasty way. There's not a vindictive streak in this combination at all. As I say, the rat really doesn't like to hurt anybody. You know, sometimes they can be a bit like a bull in a china shop sometimes, rushing here, there and everywhere, tearing about, and maybe sort of accused of being a little bit thoughtless, but that's not really what they're setting out to do. They've got to find new ways. They've got to get out into the world, experiment, and it's not for the point of fact of hurting anyone. It's just what they do. It's what they are, and they feel really bad if they've hurt someone's feelings, because even though the Gemini, not overly sensitive, would really feel bad if they had sort of hurt somebody by saying a flippant comment. You know, they wouldn't do it to damage anybody's self-esteem, or as I say, to sort of bully them in any way, or sort of get the upper hand on anyone. It's not their way. They're not that way inclined. They just like to get through. Don't really like conflict at all. The Gemini can look after themselves, as we know, so can the rat, but they're not conflict orientated. They much rather get along with a smile on their face. Can be a bit over talkative sometimes, yes, very, very much so, but you know, they like to do things with a smile on their face, you know, and they know when to knuckle down and when to have a laugh. So they're very, very all-round, very integral person really we have here, and they're going into their early adult life. Now, if we go back a little way, and as I've said about the experimentation, there can be a tendency for this combination to be very detached in love matters. So if we find them in the 16, 17, 18 years of age sort of time zone, they would be it's very easy for them to have sex without any feelings, because it's all an experiment to them, and as I say, they don't take things too seriously. And maybe you have to put this over to this combination in the early days if you really want something to work, because they won't feel as though you're taking it serious. You know, they're there to have a giggle, they're a good buddy, and as I say, maybe they can hurt people, maybe by not really thinking about it, by thinking, oh yeah, it's just a bit of a game, I just want to, you know, experiment here, and then the following week they want to experiment with someone else, because that's the rat nature, as I've said. And the Gemini, with the thinking, needs stimulation, it needs various people, and that they can be accused of being very promiscuous when they're younger. But if we take them into their 20s, now this is where you find someone completely different. The Gemini mentality really does kick in with this combo and takes over. You have someone who is ultra loyal, takes love very seriously, and you can actually come across this person, you know, 6, 7, 8 years later, and you think, you know, they were a bit of a run around or whatever, and you can see the change and the way they do take that part of themselves a lot more serious than they used to. Maybe it's where it catches up with them and they think, I can't keep losing a piece of me each time. So I think it's basically a case of that, and plus, you know, the astrological influence of the Gemini, where the mind will progress, it won't stay at that age, and as I say, they know the importance of solidity, like rats do. They love security, and you know, and they appreciate this very, very much. So if they do fall in love, and they will look to, it will be hopefully in their eyes forever. So this is where you've got a lovely, loyal and stimulating companion. You've got someone who's very interesting, will talk about many different subjects, will be great company for your friends as well. You know, your friends will enjoy talking to them. They'll be good in group circles, couples nights, etc. like that. There'll be always a stimulating talk at the dinner table, or if you're going to the cinema or whatever you're doing, it will be, you know, fascinating and stimulating. And mentally, they need that as much as they do physically. That wears off, as I say, as they get older. So if we look at the perfect combinations for the Gemini rat, well, you have to look at the dragons. I mean, this is a fantastic match for the Gemini rat. You know, the dragons, they will give that luxury and that solidity that, you know, the rat loves. And likewise, you know, the dragon's got someone who will listen to them and who will make them feel secure and really, really boost their ego by saying how wonderful they are, which the dragon loves. And this would be a very loving, but also, very importantly, a massive, massive money-making machine, because you have the ideas and the stimulation of the rats, and with the skills of the dragon, and, you know, and that willingness to strive and achieve, you know, anything's possible for these two. So if we look for the Aquarius dragon, the Aries dragon, the Libran dragon, and also the Leo dragon, you know, they are wonderful, wonderful matches. We also have to go into the monkeys. The monkeys, well, okay, maybe on the money-making stakes, which we've said about the, you know, the dragon and the rat's capabilities. The monkey is a little bit different, but the monkey can be a little bit fretful and a little bit anxious, and the rat really does calm that down, because they've got the loyalty that, you know, the monkeys crave that loyalty, and somebody who's going to keep, you know, the home fires burning, and the rat will do that. They will do that. And also, you know, there's that love of independence that they can both achieve in their own fields, and also, you know, that respect that they both you know, crave for. And the monkey will give that, and the rat vice versa. So let's look for the Aquarius monkey, let's look for the Aries monkey, the Libran monkey, and also the Leo monkey. Fabulous matches. If we look at the ones to avoid, well, it has to be horses at all costs, because horses, they're a little bit too unpredictable for the rat. The rat doesn't deal too well in situations where, you know, the horse, for all their generosity and their, you know, their capable, great demonstrations of love, they can be very unpredictable, and this really does unsettle the rats. And also the rats, who can be, as I say, a little bit solid and a little bit, you know, content on sitting on the nest and keeping what they've got. You know, the horse may go onto a crazy spending spree, which will unsettle the rat completely, and the horse will think the rat could be a bit of a stick in the mud in this circumstance. So they don't get on particularly great, and that's one to avoid. If we have to look at the health issues with the Gemini rat, well, we really have to look at the respiratory organs, the lungs, anything like that. You know, it's always going to be the weak spot for this combination. So asthma, bronchitis, things like that, they pick up viruses very quickly through the chest. So there is a real need for them to take care, especially things like pneumonia. They are very, you know, prone to becoming victims of things like this. So take very great care there. And yes, they have a love for luxury, food and drink, but as I said with this combination, they know when they're going over the top, they know when they have to stop, or when they have to ease off. So really, you know, the intelligence there will tell them, hold on a minute, I've eaten too much this week, or I've drank too much, or I need a bit of exercise. But, you know, make sure they get that exercise in, you know, or make sure you do, because it's very important to keep the lungs going and the fitness up, because this is going to be pivotal, you know, in later years. Okay, thank you for joining me, and I really hope you tune in for the next issue. Thank you. Bye.